Picture this. It's just after midnight, and you're driving alone on Route 44 in Rehoboth. Suddenly, a man with red hair and red flannel shirt leaps in front of your car. You slam on the brakes and brace for a crash, but a crash never happens. You get out of the car and look at the road behind you, but there's nobody there. How strange, you think to yourself. Or maybe it's not. After all, you're in the belly of the Bridgewater Triangle, a roughly 200 square mile region bound loosely by Abington, Freetown, and Rehoboth. At its points, the triangle is said to house a who's who of paranormal beings that, like the red-headed hitchhiker, have produced enough tales of spine-tingling encounters to fill a small library. It's a place locals and longtime visitors will tell you where the weird is what's normal, where the repulsive is the allure, and where the unexplainable is almost always part of the explanation. The land has something to it, and that's just spoiled. That's just not right, said Christopher Balzano, a folklorist who has written multiple books about triangles. It's not just the trees, it's not just the grass, and it's not just the creatures that live there. The land seems to be alive. The triangle was drawn up in the 1970s by cryptozoologist Loren Coleman, who Balzano said was investigating cases of high weirdness in and around the Hockomock Swamp. The name is a play on the Bermuda Triangle, Balzano said, and after Coleman published his findings, the Massachusetts region's popularity took off among thrill seekers and investigators. Since then, the landscapes that make up the Bridgewater Triangle have become some of New England's most famous haunted attractions. An eponymous documentary about the triangle premiered in 2013, and effects developed a horror television series based on the area. Reports out of the triangle included Puckawajis and thunderbirds, pterodactyls and giant snakes, UFOs and Bigfoot, and of course, encounters with ghosts. The campus of Bridgewater State University, which lies within the triangle, is said to be haunted. The cryptic spot is Anawan Rock in the Freetown State Forest, Balzano said, site of the capture that led to the end of the King Philip's War in 1676. Balzano said he's seen ghost fires near the rock and pushed in the back by unknown beings there. Quote, all that stuff is there, which is one of the reasons why people are so drawn to investigate it, Balzano said of the triangle. It confirms their own ideas about the paranormal. Many people point to King Philip's War, a conflict between English colonists and Native Americans that is considered the bloodiest war per capita in U.S. history, as the spark for Triangle's haunting. Fighting took place during the 1670s across southern New England. But Bridgewater Triangle experts such as Balzano and Tim Weisberg, host of the radio program Spooky South Coast, say the region's paranormal phenomenon likely are caused by the power and the energy of the area itself, not by a single traumatic event. Quote, whatever is here and whatever comprises the triangle is something that's always been here, Weisberg said. I think all these things that people are looking at, whether it be King Philip's War or what have you, they're really just symptoms of the triangle. Weisberg said he's had many unexplained encounters during investigations in and around the area. At War Memorial Park in West Bridgewater, for instance, he said he's seen a shadow people, pitch black, three-dimensional figures moving through a tunnel. Quote, it's like a paranormal Disney World, Weisberg said. The triangle kind of sucks you in and gets under your skin. So it's pretty easy to become obsessed with it. It's pretty easy to become somebody that is constantly being drawn back to it. For experts, the triangle also is alluring because its stories get people hooked on Massachusetts history, said Derry Lee, author of a book about ghosts in Plymouth. Quote, ghost hauntings of Bridgewater Triangle gives all of us who are local historians a reason to tell the local history story, Lee said, particularly that of King Philip's War, which doesn't get a whole lot of coverage. Plus, she said there's nothing wrong with a good spook. The triangle can certainly give you that. Quote, isn't it fun to get a little scared sometimes, Lee said. Some people think it's fun. The modern cultural origin of the Bridgewater Triangle legend is cryptozoologist Loren Coleman's 1983 book, Mysterious America. In it, he coined the term Bridgewater Triangle, inspired, of course, by the Bermuda Triangle, and established its rough boundaries. Coleman identifies Rehoboth in the southwest, Abington in the north, and Freetown in the southeast as the 3 points of the triangle meaning hundreds of thousands of people live inside it, but many Bridgewater Triangle believers posit that the triangle stretches far beyond Coleman's proposed borders. In his book, Coleman also identified some of the triangle's most notable places and legends, calling the region a window area of unexplained occurrences. The triangle is home to reports of all sorts of supernatural occurrences, from ghosts to UFOs to Sasquatch. While it might be unsettling to some to live in an area home to frequent reports of paranormal occurrences, those interested in going deeper into the unknown will be happy to know that there are plenty of Bridgewater Triangle hotspots to explore that are right nearby. King Philip's Cave. One of the more famous locations in the Bridgewater Triangle is King Philip's Cave in Norton, known for its connection to dark times in Massachusetts history. A common investigation spot for Bridgewater Triangle legend, trippers, people venturing near the cave, have reported seeing unexplained floating balls of light known as spook lights, campfires you see in the distance that disappear when you go near them, known as phantom fires, and inexplicable sounds of drums, known as phantom drums. Lake Nippenicket, Hockomock Swamp. One of the biggest hotspots within the triangle is the Hockomock Swamp, which makes up a large portion of the wetlands south of Boston. Within the swamp, one of the biggest areas of activity is around Lake Nippenicket in Bridgewater. Around the lake, people have spotted everything from Bigfoot to giant birds and snakes. Phantom fires seen from across the lake are particularly common, as well as spook lights and phantom drums. Some have even reported seeing full-bodied apparitions. Local legend trippers say that if you want to experience Bridgewater Triangle weirdness, this is a must visit, as anything could happen. The Mayflower Hill Cemetery. One of the more famous cemeteries in the Bridgewater Triangle is Mayflower Hill Cemetery in Taunton. Legends have grown around the grave depicting an empty rocking chair. Some say the girl died after falling over backwards in the chair, while others say she died in a fire while sitting in the chair she was told not to leave. Pearl French, who died at the age of 4, has a notable grave at the Mayflower Hill Cemetery in Taunton. Historical records show the grave belongs to a girl named Pearl French, who was only 4 years old when she died of spinal meningitis on March 26, 1882. The choice of an empty rocking chair as Pearl's grave marker can be explained by a popular poem about the heartbreak of childhood mortality, published in a magazine in 1850 by Richard Coy Jr., entitled The Vacant Chair. The grave has the words, "Her vacant chair," printed on it. People who visit the grave claim to see the little girl in the chair, and otherwise, as well as orbs of light flying around. Anawan Rock in Rehoboth is another Bridgewater Triangle location, known for its ties to King Philip's War. On August 28, 1676, Captain Benjamin Church and his group of colonial soldiers captured Anawan, the war chief of the Pocasset people and the chief captain of Metacomet. By then, Metacomet had been captured and killed, and the capture of Anawan marked the final event in King Philip's War. Local legend trippers have reported seeing phantom fires, heard phantom drums, seen spook lights, and even full-bodied apparitions around the rock outcropping. They say its connection to King Philip's War is to blame for its paranormal occurrences. Taunton State Hospital. Rumors of malignant supernatural activity swirl around Taunton State Hospital, which began housing the mentally ill in 1854 and is one of the most famous haunted places in Bridgewater Triangle. According to Ghosts of the Bridgewater Triangle by Christopher Balzano, the hospital used therapy techniques now thought of as barbaric, including submerging patients in water, keeping them out in the cold for long stretches of time, high-voltage electric shocks, and of course, prefrontal lobotomy. Taunton State Hospital has been known as the site of many ghost sightings for years. The hospital had some notable patients, including Anthony Santo, an Italian-American who, after having his mind affected by scarlet fever and experiencing hallucinations, confessed to murdering 2 of his cousins and a 6-year-old girl by luring them into the woods and killing them with a knife and stoning them. Another notable patient was Honora Jolly Jane Toppin, a nurse who confessed to at least 31 murders after her arrest in 1901. She is known for doing painful experiments with patients and killing her landlord, foster sister, and 4 elderly members of a family she worked for as a nurse. The Goss building is reportedly home to the ghost of a man in white who appears on the 3rd floor, as well as various other spirits. On the grounds, people sometimes report seeing the ghost of an elderly woman or man walking the grass. At night, banging screams and moans can supposedly be heard from the woods behind the hospital. Sometimes people see hazes or shadows in the shape of people, both inside and outside the buildings. There are also reports of cult activity within the hospital's patients and staff, with stories ranging from strange markings in the basement to suicide in the name of the devil. The grounds of the hospital, which are located in downtown Taunton, can still be visited today, and some say the ghosts of the pain patients are still there. Freetown Ledge, the Freetown State Forest. The biggest Bridgewater Triangle hotspot outside the Hockomock Swamp is the Freetown Fall River State Forest. The forest has been the site of multiple dark true crimes. Police officers from the time say there was regular satanic cult activity in the forest between the 1970s and 90s, including sacrificed animals and pentagram graffiti. It is also believed that the Fall River cult murderers, Carl Drew and Robin Murphy, conducted rituals in the forest, even potentially having a hut in the middle. The Freetown State Forest is said to include many spooky areas, including Assonet Ledge. Within the forest, one of the creepiest spots is Assonet Ledge, a high up-rock outcropping that overlooks a black pond. People are said to see phantom fires, spook lights, and even full-bodied apparitions on the ledge. But most hauntingly, non-suicidal people are said to get a strong urge to jump off it when they reach the top. Profile Rock in Freetown is a rock outcropping that used to look like the profile of a man's face. Unfortunately for Bridgewater Triangle fans, the strange shape was ruined when a part of the rock that looked like the man's nose fell off into the rubble below. Still, Profile Rock can be a very creepy part of the forest to visit at night, since it does take a short walk through the woods to get to. If you choose to visit, you might catch a glimpse of a phantom fire or spook lights. Dighton Rock. Another strange feature within the Bridgewater Triangle is Dighton Rock, which is located in Berkeley. The 40-ton boulder, which was originally located in the riverbed of the Taunton River, is known for its strange carvings of drawings, symbols, and writings, also known as petroglyphs. The rock was written about as long ago as 1680. No one is sure what language or culture the markings on the rock came from, though historians have proposed everything from indigenous American language to ancient Phoenician. In 1963, during the construction of the Coffer Dam, state officials removed the rock from the river for preservation. It was installed in a museum in a nearby park, where it can still be visited today. The Lizzie Borden House. Perhaps the most famous and haunted place in the Bridgewater Triangle is a historical Lizzie Borden house in Fall River. The house is the actual site of the infamous 1892 murder of Abby and Andrew Borden by axe. Though their daughter, Lizzie, was acquitted of the murders, it hasn't stopped fascination with and speculation into the unsolved murder case. The Lizzie Borden house comes even more alive at nighttime. Many local legend trippers have said they had their most intense paranormal encounters at the house, from seeing full-bodied apparitions to being thrown against the wall or down the stairs by some unknown force. Some have even gotten so spooked they have sworn never to visit again. Today, the owners of the house have done their best to recreate it as it was. You can visit for a tour or even stay overnight if you're brave enough.